You close your eyes. You're asleep within minutes. And then something strange happens. You're running through a city you've never been to. Someone you haven't thought about in years is there. You're late for something, but you don't know what. The rules of physics don't apply. Nothing makes sense. And then your alarm goes off, and it's gone. All of it. You just spent roughly 2 hours in a world your brain built entirely on its own. And you have no idea why. Here's the short answer. Nobody does. Not fully. The long answer is way more interesting. Let's start with what we know for certain. Every night, you cycle through several stages of sleep. Most of your dreaming happens in REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement. Your eyes flicker behind your eyelids. Your brain lights up like you're awake. Your heart rate rises, and your body gets temporarily paralyzed. All 4 limbs, completely unable to move. That last part is important. We'll come back to it. In 1953, a researcher named Eugene Aserinsky was watching his sleeping son and noticed his eyes moving rapidly under his eyelids. He hooked him up to an EEG machine. The brain activity was almost identical to waking. He had just discovered REM sleep. And everything we know about dreaming starts there. Now here's the question everyone actually wants answered. Why does any of this happen? Why does your brain run a simulation of a world that doesn't exist while you're unconscious? There are several competing theories, and none of them fully explain it. But each one reveals something fascinating. The first theory is threat rehearsal. Finnish neuroscientist Antti Revonsuo proposed that dreaming exists because it was useful for survival. In dreams, you practice being in danger. You get chased, you fall, you lose someone, you show up somewhere unprepared. Your brain is running threat simulations, so that when those things happen in real life, you've already experienced them emotionally. Think about the most common dreams people report: falling, being chased, being unprepared for a test or a presentation, losing teeth, being in public with no clothes on. Every single one of them is a social or physical threat scenario, not random. Rehearsal. The second theory is memory consolidation. Your brain uses sleep to sort and store the day's experiences, but the process is messy. Fragments from different memories get pulled out at random. They get stitched together into something that looks like a story, but doesn't quite follow the rules of reality. What you experience as a dream is actually your brain filing things away. The dream isn't the point. The sorting is. In 2010, Harvard researcher Robert Stickgold ran an experiment. He had people play the game Tetris and then sleep. 75% of them reported dreaming about falling shapes. Their brains were literally processing the game during sleep. Memories don't just sit there. They get replayed, compressed, and integrated. And sometimes you're watching it happen. The third theory is emotional regulation. Neuroscientist Matthew Walker argues that REM sleep is essentially overnight therapy. When you dream, your brain replays emotional memories, but strips away the emotional charge. The memory gets replayed. The pain fades. You wake up, and the thing that destroyed you yesterday feels slightly more manageable. Sleep doesn't fix your problems, but it changes how sharp they feel. This is why sleep deprivation makes everything feel unbearable. It's not just tiredness. It's that your brain never got to process what happened. The emotional weight carries over unprocessed. Now, remember how I mentioned your body gets paralyzed during REM sleep? Here's why that matters. Your brain is so active during dreaming that without the paralysis, you would physically act out everything happening in the dream. Running, swinging, jumping, screaming. There's actually a rare condition called REM sleep behavior disorder, where the paralysis mechanism fails. People with this disorder get up and act out their dreams in real life. They punch walls. They run into furniture. They shout. Whole scenes from their dreams, physically performed while still asleep. That paralysis isn't a side effect of dreaming. It's a safety system. Without it, you destroy your bedroom every night. Now here's the part that's hard to explain. Some dreams don't fit any of these theories. There are documented cases of people solving problems in their dreams. Dmitry Mendeleev claimed the periodic table came to him in a dream. Paul McCartney heard the melody for Yesterday in a dream and woke up thinking someone else had written it. Elias Howe, the inventor of the sewing machine, spent years unable to figure out how to make it work. Then he had a dream where he was being chased by cannibals carrying spears with holes at the tips. He woke up and realized the hole in the needle goes at the bottom, not the top. Dreams solved problems that conscious thinking couldn't. No one has a complete explanation for why this happens. The brain in dream state doesn't follow the rules of logic it follows while awake. It makes connections between unrelated things freely. It ignores the filters. And sometimes, those unusual connections are exactly what a problem needs. So here's the answer. Dreaming might be threat rehearsal. It might be memory storage. It might be emotional processing. It might be all three happening at once, or different functions on different nights. Scientists have been studying it for 70 years and are still arguing. But here's the part that matters most. You dream for roughly 2 hours every single night. That's 6 years of your life spent in a world your brain creates entirely on its own. 6 years of running from things, losing people, flying over cities, showing up unprepared, reliving moments that are gone. Your brain has been doing this every night since you were born. Before you had language, before you had memories, before you understood what any of it meant. And it still won't tell you why.